Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Boxsmith Live Show, brought to you by Boxsmith Workshop, your one-stop shop for all of your cardboard-related needs. I am your host with the most, Jeb the Boxsmith. Welcome to the show. Whether you're joining me here live or catching the VOD, just want to say I'm happy to see that you are here. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. Now, let's get into the stream rules and things like that. Rule number one, contrary to my scripted content, this is an uncensored show. We're compliant with community guidelines, but at the bare minimum expect a little bit of profanity. Hot glue guns hurt when they touch you. What can I say? 2. We are all misfits and weirdos here, hot glue bonded together by our love of cardboard and content related to it. If you don't feel comfortable nowhere else, my friend, you're going to feel comfortable here. This is the Boxsmith Live Show. We clown in this motherfucker. And lastly, do not look the directly in the eye. Now, without further ado, let us get started. Now, today we are basically following up where we left off. And that is when I was getting, oops, there we go. Oh, wrong button. Hey. Last stream, we were working on finishing this little doohickey, this nice little sickle chain. An old template that I made a long time ago. And sadly, we had a bit of a power outage, so we weren't able to finish. We left off roughly when we were just detailing this part over here. But that's all fine, that's alright. We're back here today, and it's going to be a good time. The weather's a lot better, so we should have a much easier time this time around. I've also gotten more than 9 hours of sleep. Y'all have noticed I was a little bit tired last time we were on here, but that is no longer the case. I have all my energy back, and this is going to be a fun stream, I can tell you that. I also found my handy-dandy tape, so that's going to make putting these templates together a little bit easier. Well, now we're in for a fun, exciting little stream today. Now, without further ado, let us begin. Which knife should I use today? Alrighty, we got a couple of different choices here, chat. Which knife should I use for cutting out this particular piece? For the cardboard knife, press 1. For the craft knife, press 2. And for the X-Acto knife, press 3. What are we using today? While I'm waiting for your responses, we want to quickly shout out Shello in the chat, who sadly had to leave and wasn't able to watch this live here because they had to go to bed. Trust me, I understand. Sleep is important. So, Shello, if you're watching the VOD, hello! I hope you had a good sleep last night. Sleep is very important. Always prioritize your sleep. So, now, what are we thinking? 1, 2, or 3? One more time. 1 is for this, 2 is for this, and 3 is for this. I'm completely capable of boxsmithing with any one of them for this particular activity. It's just more of a preference of the chat. Just thought it'd be a little fun thing to do. I know it's a controversial pick, but I absolutely love Style. It's easily one of my favorite songs in the Minecraft soundtrack. I've just got a soft spot for just stuff that intentionally sounds stupid and shitty. I just really dig it. Like, it has the audacity to lead you in with the lovely little... smooth jazz, and it just breaks in with the recorder, and it's just... it gets me every time. Alright, we've got Suspicious in the we've got Suspicious... We've got Suspicious Toast in the chat advocating for number 2. Alright, Suspicious Toast, you got your wish. We're using knife number 2 today. Now, let us resume the smithing. Now, the way that you go about boxsmithing and cutting things out of cardboard, it's a lot like the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. It's a lot easier to work with cardboard when you make small shallow cuts into it versus really big and powerful strokes like that. It's all about slow and steady. The big and powerful strokes will likely get you faster results, but they won't always be as neat or so. The slower you go, just getting progressively deeper in with each new cut until you eventually cut all the way through it, leads to a nicer look overall. That's just something to keep in mind. It's something that even I, as a master boxer, have to keep in mind sometimes, because sometimes you don't really want to do the slow method because, you know, it takes forever and a day. But that's fine. Sometimes you're allowed to bend the rules a little bit, especially if you're good at it. Good at the job, I mean. You see, everyone wants to find the hacks or the shortcuts that lead to achieving what it is you want. Whether it's in getting good at a specific activity like boxsmithing or getting ahead at life, everyone's always looking for hacks and shortcuts and things of that nature. But, two things about that. One, Naruto said it best, there are no shortcuts to becoming Hokage. Anything that's worth doing requires a lot of effort to put towards to it. You're not going to... By taking shortcuts and things like that, you often rob yourself of the experience of actually succeeding by your own merit and things like that. But also, sometimes shortcuts can be useful if you use them properly. No one quick fix or shortcut is going to get you all the way from point A to point B, but there's nothing wrong with efficiency. Sometimes doing things a little bit of a different way are a good way of getting things done a little, just a tad bit faster and more efficient. Case in point. Ooh, goodness. Case in point. Cutting the cardboard very quickly and hard. It sometimes works for situations like when you intentionally want a piece of cardboard to look rough and jagged. Like you have a piece that you're making and you want it to look ancient and rough. In a situation like that, it would be actually useful to cut it sloppier and more jagged versus nice and neatly, because it'd be a lot easier to create that effect. And at the same time, you get the benefit of it was faster to cut out than if you did it the neater way. Someone who wants to effectively break a rule must know and understand that rule just as much, if not more so, than a person who wants to follow the rule. Because only by completely understanding how something works are you able to understand where and how you're able to make edits to the status quo. If you're just trying to change how something is done for the sake of changing how it's done, whether it be for convenience, just for the sake of it, or whatever, you're generally not going to get too far. But if you understand why things are done the way they are done, you know, sometimes things could be made to be done a little bit more efficient. So, in those cases, by fully understanding why things are done the way they are, you're able to fully see where they could be improved, where they could be changed, where the rule can be bent or even broken. It's all about understanding it. Being rebellious is arguably even more... being effectively rebellious is actually arguably even more work than just following the rules a lot of times. So I just think that's a funny little parallel. How things be and stuff like that. So that's fun. I saw a video the other day, speaking of the music here, I saw a video the other day about half of the cast of Team Fortress 2 doing a Q&A, but also reading the comics in their own voices. It was very entertaining. Listening to the man who plays Medic doing his voice was definitely a treat, as I've mentioned before. Goofy, not all mentally there doctors are one of my favorite characters in, or one of my favorite types of characters in fiction. Medic Team Fortress 2, Faust from Guilty Gear. Pretty sure there are others, but those are the primary two I can think of right now because, you know, they come from the two of the games I play most right now. But yeah, I love me a quirked up mad scientist busting it down wacky style. They are indeed goated with the science. So this piece is almost fully cut out and everything like that. It's funny enough, I know they strike a lot of resemblance to it except for the little spikes out here, but I initially designed these long before the new Puss in Boots movie came out. They, speaking of Medic, there's this theme. They were actually modeled after the sickles that Ghost Rider used when he was added to Fortnite some years ago. It was one of my most popular videos. It's actually arguably my most controversial video because there were like 8 different flame wars in the chat about whether or not Fortnite was cringe or base, and whether or not me making something from Fortnite was cringe or based. It got to the point where I had to step in and tell everyone to cool it. It was crazy. But yeah. We're all here to enjoy the things that make us happy here. And if Fortnite is something that brings you joy, then no adventure of mine is going to clown on you for that. You are entitled to enjoy the things that you enjoy just as much as anyone else here is. We are inclusive in this place. Everyone should feel welcome. Yeah. But, yeah. This piece is almost done here. Hopefully by next time I'll have Streamlabs functions set up so people can like not even just donate, but like also have it so, you know, I can like hear your questions like pop up on the screen, things like that, stuff like that. That sounds like fun. An extra element of engagement to it. Also because, you know, money is cool too. It all goes hand in hand. It all goes hand in hand. Is this done? Almost. Ooh, I almost forgot one of the most crucial pieces. The hole. No Tomska. I'm not actually going to do that right now. I'm just going to mark out the 4 quarters of it. And then come back and cut that later. Because I told Suspicious Toast that I would use only the knife for this particular piece. And I am a man of my word. I enjoyed the challenge. This is actually one of my... It's hard to call this one of my favorite knives, because I love all of my knives for different reasons. They're all specifically good at one particular thing they do, that sometimes the other ones just aren't quite as good at. That's interesting. It's almost like asking to pick a favorite child. I don't necessarily have a favorite. They all have their unique things that make them great and things that make them a little less desirable, but you still love them. I think we're almost done here. Come on. So you want to be stubborn, I see. That's fine, that's fine. We'll take care of that. Come on. Work for me, please. Thank you. Much better. Okay, there we go. Almost forgot where that piece was. Archimedes is a very underrated song. It doesn't show up in any of the promotional shorts, at least I don't think it does. So it doesn't really have the same emotional significance as a lot of the other Team Fortress 2 songs do. It's the theme of Medic's pet bird. Come on. Which is actually, funny enough, another reason why I love Medic so much is because he, like me, is a bird person. I like the Rick and Morty type of bird person. I mean, as in literally, he loves birds, just like me. He's just like me for real. And actually, no, I don't want to claim Medic because it's just like me for real. For real, he's a little immoral for my taste. But he's still a fun character. So yeah. All right, this piece is just about done. Actually, it is done. So basically how this one's going to work is that you'll notice if you caught it earlier on the actual template paper that said detail. And that's because this goes onto this one on top of it like so. And it just creates a little... Hang on a second, let me grab the... Where is it? There it is. Don't want to use that just yet, actually. But if you look at it, it creates a effect on it that makes it look like it actually has a sharp edge by being, what's it looking for? It's not beveled, it's, I think it's tapered? It looks like it has a tapering on it. Nice little effect there. So, yeah. Alright, now we've got that piece cut out. That's a good enough stopping point, I'd say. Let me just rip that off. And then I'll start reading some of your comments. Let's see what we got here. We got some familiar faces and some new faces here. You'll have to see it, you'll have to see it. Alrighty, let's see here. Got a lot of comments this day. I love it, I love it, I love it. Alrighty, let's see, where to start? Suspicious Toast says, I've been making Suspicious Toast says, I've been making cardboard swords and armor lately. I get my cardboard for free. Oh yeah, that's awesome! It's always nice. I joke about it a lot because I used to buy a lot of my cardboard in the beginning, but over time it's like, when you become a high level enough boxsmith, you don't look for cardboard. Cardboard comes to you. I have not purchased a cardboard box in close to an entire year, just because I've kept finding ways, or people who figure out what I'm doing just give the cardboard to me. It's honestly pretty great. It's almost a problem. I almost have too much cardboard now. Now, if you could replace cardboard with money, now that would be a cool problem to have as well. Do this long enough, I don't no longer have to search for money. Money comes to me. That'd be funny. Cardboard Sensei says, thanks a lot, Jeb. I was stuck on an 8-foot sword as it was really bendy and weak. Your words about no shortcuts led me to know exactly what I need to do. Long live the boxsmiths. That just warms my cardboard heart to hear. Yes. Long live the boxsmiths, Cardboard Sensei. I hope that your project of 8-foot sword goes well. I wonder if it's like a sword from like Guts is from Berserker, which is an own design. Either way, I'm intrigued. When you finish, make sure to show it off in the Discord under Boxsmithing Showcase. We might show up in another community creation showcase later on, so be mindful of that. It'd be cool. Popcorn Mountain says, can you look at Boxsmithing Showcase? Boxsmithing Showcase is something that we are doing today, but that's not until a little bit later in the stream. Stay tuned. Let's see here. Suspicious Toast agrees with, I think it was Cardboard Sensei who said it earlier. Same here, thank you for inspiring me in my cardboard craft. Oh, thank you so much. You all inspire me roughly as much as I inspire all of you. Because all of you are the reason that I do this. Just seeing how an effect I have on this community, things like that, teaching people how to make stuff, helping them, all that kind of stuff. It's really a marvelous thing. So thank you for being awesome as well. Let's see here. Sneck the Snake asks, "Hello there, Jeb. How are you today?" I'm doing much better today, Sneck the Snake. I was a lot more tired yesterday than I realized, so I just kind of considered the power going out as just like divine intervention, as like it was just time to go to bed or anyways. I just went to sleep. I woke up today. I feel significantly better. You can even just tell there's a clear difference in vibe in this video versus last night. That's because I'm not sleepy anymore. I got all my energy. Yes, so I'm doing much better today. Really good indeed. So thank you for asking. How are you doing today? Let's see here. Cardboard Sensei asks, "Can you please try making the Attack on Titan swords with removable blades?" Ooh, that sounds really cool. I definitely do want to make it. Maybe around the time where they finally finish the series, like the last special episode. It's a really good series. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to break it up the way that they did, but I got impatient. I just read the manga, honestly. So I already know how it ends and everything like that. But I'm just, still waiting for the actual special, because manga is absolutely great. It gets the narrative and the story across, but it's always nice to see how the anime does the spectacle of everything and all that kind of stuff. Like that one scene with Hanji and all of the colossal titans. Oh, really good stuff. Robert Sensei, it's sword from Naruto. It's Zabuza's sword. Ah, yes, very good. Funny story about that, and related to that's the last comment. So we're gonna get back to work here. A funny story about Zabuza, his sword, and Naruto in general. But it was around the time when I watched Naruto for the first time that I really started boxsmithing myself. It was that same summer. That school year before, I had gotten into One Punch Man. That was the first real anime I'd ever watched. And I've mentioned the story in a previous stream, I think, but I convinced a friend to give One Punch Man a try if I gave Naruto a try. And Naruto would end up being my first proper shonen anime, like of the big three or something like that. And the funny thing about it is that both shows were on Netflix, so that made it easier for both of us. And what we agreed on was that we would each watch one season of the respective show. My friend would watch one season of One Punch Man, and I would watch one season of Naruto, based on Netflix's definition of a season. So I agreed to this, not knowing that one season of Naruto it's different than how we do seasons here on the eastern side of the world. A season, what I was expecting was like, roughly 22 episodes, kind of like how One Punch Man was, or kind of like how most shows I'd watched at the time on Netflix were. But no, one season of Naruto, as Netflix defined it, was a little over 100 episodes. It was from the very start of the series all the way up to the end of the Chunin exams arc, like after the Sasuke retrieval arc. I had been hoodwinked, duped, deceived, and I couldn't have been happier about it, because Naruto ended up being an incredible show, and I really enjoyed it. But on that story, I distinctly remember watching the Swordsmith Village arc and feeling inspired to make a big old sword like Zabuza's myself. I don't think I still have that sword, but Naruto did have a big influence on me starting off as a boxsmith. So I think that's really cool, being here like 6 years later and talking to someone in my chat who, like me, felt inspired to boxsmith based on episodes of Naruto. I just think that's really neat. Kind of almost like a full circle kind of thing, So yeah. Naruto's a good show. I've watched enough. It's kind of funny because when I first started out watching anime, I was really adamant about not wanting to be associated with weebs or people who watched anime regularly. I just thought to myself, no, it's just like one other type of show that I watch. I only watch like one or two shows. I'm not like a weeb or anything like that. And I would say that to my friends, is like, yeah, I watch like one anime. It's just one. It's all right. I don't really see myself watching a whole bunch of more of these or so. And here we are somewhere around 6 years later, and I have watched, I want to say around 14 different animes, not including mangas. I know that's not a ridiculous amount by some standards, but that is significantly more than I ever thought I would. Because I was once very adamant about not wanting to watch anime, things like that. So I just find how that happens sometimes. Maybe 15 if you count Avatar: Last Airbender or the Boondocks. They aren't really, but they are, you know? I think there's also Ruby. Ruby's pretty neat. Asterix. I have very mixed feelings about Ruby, honestly. A good friend of mine got me into it several years ago, and I've just kind of been on Mr. Bones' wild ride ever since, for good and for bad. I really think that it started off really great with something, and like Volume 3 was great. I really enjoyed that. It had its down points after that every now and then, but I think it still came back after a while. I think it had a problem of just, what's I'm looking for? Reveling too much in darkness. It's like, they kind of forgot how, in order for sad and tragic stuff to happen in your show to feel effective, it has to be juxtaposed by happy things that are good and worth fighting for, things like that. You have some of the most soul-crushing shows in the world, like Chainsaw Man and Berserk, but they have happy moments because without that contrast, it's just constant bleakness, and that's not interesting. When you introduce something happy, something worth fighting for, and take that away from your characters, it hurts all the more. Because you, like the characters, have built some sort of attachment to whatever it was that brought their miserable lives some joy. So when that's gone, you extra feel for it. And they finally understood that around volume, like, the volume that came out a couple years ago. I think it was like 8. Volume 8 was, like, in my opinion, the return of the reasons why I liked Ruby. Because all the things I mentioned, it wasn't without its flaws per se, but in reality, no show is. But Volume 8 and onward is when I really started to enjoy it again. So yeah. My current favorite animes right now would have to be One Piece and Gurren Lagann. Black Clover's up there too. You probably like notice a pattern there in the kinds of themes I like in shows. But my taste is a little bit more varied than that. I really enjoyed Chainsaw Man. I read the entirety of what's currently out there of the manga. I'm completely up to date with that. It's a really enjoyable read. And I recently started, speaking of like sign-in equivalent stuff, Berserk. I went book shopping with friends a while ago, and I'd always been meaning to start it. And the online copies I found weren't always like the greatest, so I just had the cash saying, you know, why don't I just get the first volume? Let me see how I like it. I did. I really like the message that Berserk has, just basically about why do you fight? Why do you choose to exist even in to exist or to press on even in the face of impossible odds? The whole idea of even though life may be bleak, it has its moments, its small moments of genuine beauty that make suffering through the bleak worth it. It's about understanding what it is that makes you happy or view life as something worth living and things like that. There was an interesting argument brought up by two characters in the first chapter. Guts was traveling with a That's the protagonist if you're not familiar with Berserk. He was traveling with an old man and his daughter. And they noticed how he was like a bounty hunter. And they weren't too fond of the fact that he was, especially the father, because his late son was a bounty hunter just like him, and he had died in the duty of being a bounty hunter. And the father thought that was a waste of his life, and that he regretted that he went down that path. But Guts argued, why feel sad for his son? Because his son died doing what he loved. He found a cause in life that he thought was worth laying down his life for. So Guts believed that even in his final moments, the son would have been happy. And that's something that really stuck with me. The idea of, what is it that you fight for? What is it that you think about, even on the most bleakest of days, that makes you believe that it's worth persevering for? That's something I think everyone should ask themselves about, or find that for them in their lives. Because I personally believe, for better or worse, a life living 5 seconds doing and being who you truly are and what you love is better than living an entire life not. Like, if you had the choice between only be yourself, you could be yourself, but you would only live another 5 minutes on this earth, versus you could suppress who you really are and conform to whatever standards have been set by others for the rest of your life. I would choose the... Oops, this kind of broke. That's alright, we can fix it. I would choose 5 minutes of being my true self. Because it would always bother me thinking about who or what could have I been, living a long life without ever understanding what I was truly capable of. If I had the courage to just be who I was, that sounds like agony, almost like a fate worse than death to me. And the argument that Berserk presents as literary work is very similar to that, and that's one of the reasons why I vibe with it. So yeah, it's really neat. We're almost done cutting out this piece right here. And after that, comes the fun part. Making the chains. That's gonna be interesting. What if I could just bend this out? Yeah! Sweet! We're done even sooner than expected. E. Alrighty, let's see here. These two pieces, let me just separate them. Like so. Excellent. Then that's alright. That was partially to be expected anyways. It wasn't a very strong piece of cardboard I was cutting with to begin with, so we're just gonna... Yeah, good as new. I tell y'all, I love this plier stapler. Easily one of the best things I've ever bought as a boxsmith. When I say that Boxsmith Workshop, my website, is your one-stop shop, that is for all your cardboard-related needs. That is truly the dream. Behind the scenes, I'm working on plugging in my Amazon affiliate site for different tools and things like that. So all you have to do is just log into my website. If you ever think to yourself, oh, I wonder what types of tools Jeb uses to make stuff and things like that, you just go on the site and there's the page, and boom, there's the plier stapler link to it right there. Or you just press on it and you just order it straight from my own website. You don't have to go nowhere else. It's convenient. Because we boxsmiths kind of need that kind of thing. Part of the reason I do what I do is because it was so difficult starting out. For such a comparatively simple hobby. It has a deceptively high skill ceiling, and the resources that are currently out there to teach people how to do it are kind of lacking. I'm largely self-taught for what I've learned how to do and things like that. So I thought to myself, well, if I've been so blessed as to have the skills to learn this kind of thing, how to do it on my own, why don't I help the people who either don't or who do, but why not save them all the trouble that I had to go through? You could get my level of proficiency in like only 3 years versus 6. You know? Just something to build up this community. I've grown rather fond of it. Alrighty then. So, next thing I would need to do here is put a... Do I have the materials to put a spine in this? Let me go check my resources real quick. They're just up here. Ah! No! 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 Bad. My jumbo bamboo skewers almost fell entirely out of the bag. We're good though. Will these bamboo skewers be good as a spine for this build? Probably. Let's have a look-see. Like, put that piece in there, and then I can chop it with some pliers and build in there and there and... Yeah, that can probably work. Alright, we'll do that. Let me go see where did I put my tires? Ah, here they are. Off screen I just have a big ol' box of tools over there. Reading some of the comics. Snack the Snake says, only 14 animes? Pathetic. I've watched over 35 different ones. Hell yeah. Send me some recommendations. I would love to check out new stuff. So the thing about these goggles that I have on me is that it makes me feel more comfortable doing things like cutting wood and stuff like that, because ain't no way a splinter's getting in because, you know, there's protection protecting me. So, always wear your safety equipment when you're boxsmithing. Just, not only does it keep you safe, but just keeps you, it makes it so you don't have to worry about safety stuff, because it's already covered. I'm not saying you have to constantly wear goggles like I do while you're boxsmithing, but whenever you think you're about to take a break from cardboard and work in something like wood, it's a good idea to put some protection on your eyes. Locksmithing is one of those types of things that you can start out. You can start off fine without it, but eventually you might find yourself in a situation where you need to put on some protection. Because you don't want stuff in your eyes. That's what I meant. Patricia or Alana, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, apologies if I'm not, says, dude, it's like 1 AM, aren't you tired? Not really. I'm a bit of a night owl, honestly. Society would allow it, I'd be nocturnal. I practically am as is, so I just think that's kind of funny, but no, I typically don't go to bed for like another 2 hours, I got stuff to do. So yeah, where was I going? Yes, that's right, this needs a spine. Now, this is a good lesson in making spines, because as I was saying, a spine can be made of virtually anything, as long as it's more durable than your cardboard. Hang on a second, something happened to the music, let me go fix that. That'll resume my point. Yes, I am continuing listening. There we go, alright. So, as I was saying, spines. Spines can be virtually anything, so long as they are more durable than the cardboard that you're working with. In this particular case, I'm using some bamboo skewers, because Another way to gauge what kind of spine you want to use is gauge the actual thing you're going to be boxsmithing. This sickle has a lot of bendy and curvy parts to it, so I would think to myself, what are materials that I have to myself that are either bendy and rigid or come in a small enough place that I can put them into the different slots of it without much of an issue. And in this case, the most convenient thing I have on me are these little bamboo skewers. But some other possible things that could work if you don't have that on hand could be, let's think. I would have some sturdy metal wiring, that could work. That would arguably be even better than bamboo skewers. You could use popsicle sticks. I think that's what I used for the first time I made this kind of design. You could use a bunch of different things. But in this particular case, since it's the most convenient, heck, you could even use pencils if you can fit them in there. But in this particular case, we are using bamboo skewers. Popcorn Mountain says, Jeb, can you please look at Reacting Boxsmith Showcase? Patience is a virtue, Popcorn Mountain. We will get to that in just a second. But we are finishing this design first. Got my trusty hot glue gun. I'm gonna put down the layers of glue here. Something that I've always fantasized about making, just because I think it would be really cool, just in concept, is what you call it? A hot glue shotgun, where it's a cardboard shotgun, kind of modeled after either the shotgun from Ultra Kill or a Mossberg, and it has shells that are just a bunch of hot glue sticks that are bundled together in a toilet paper roll. I just think that'd be kind of neat. One of these days I'll make something like that. A curse or a blessing of a boxsmith, depending on who you ask, is you never see the world the same again after you become one of us. You look at anything made of cardboard and you think that paper towel roll would make a great handle for the hammer I'm making, or that Amazon box over there. I could use that for the sword that I'm making, because looking at the flaps of it and the way that it folds makes me think of the design of the sword I was looking at. So it's kind of like if you ever watched the Lego movie, like the Master Builder vision, you get that as a boxsmith. You get Master Boxsmith vision. That's just something you need to be mindful of if you chose to go down this path that many of us have. Oh, there it is. It's another thing you do. Whenever you're cutting thin pieces of wood with pliers, it's always a good idea to hang on. Let me grab another one. Whenever you're cutting something made of wood with pliers, it's always a good idea to find some way to hold both pieces, because the way that, as you just saw earlier, the way that it works when you cut these things, they have a lot of energy in that snap, and one of the pieces will inevitably go flying. So if you don't want that to happen, you don't want them flying all over the place, just find a way to pin down both sides of it, whether it's with your hand, a couch cushion, another piece of cardboard like this. There's always just like that. Keeps it from flying everywhere, because it absolutely will fly everywhere if you don't. Observe. Of course, the one time that okay. Oh, I see. I accidentally put it all the way in the back, in the divot, so it didn't do that. But, might even still. Observe. That's what I was talking about. So, what have you learned? Always make sure both sides are pinned down. Otherwise, one has a high chance of going flying. Just stab that there. This won't go here, that's nice. It's neat because these skewers have little points at the end of it, so for pieces like this that point off like that too, it's really handy for that. Makes it a lot easier to glue. It also reminds me of how it was also in middle school where not only did I discover boxsmithing, but the power of the hot glue gun as a tool for putting things together. And that's also how I learned how hot glue guns aren't always the best material for bonding different things together. Because I had been using it at the time for almost everything. It was like my equivalent of your dad in duct tape. Like a piece of cloth that got torn, hot glue. Piece of cardboard that I'm gluing together, hot glue. Lego toy that broke, hot glue. The only time I discovered that hot glue may maybe not be the best tool for every applications was when I convinced a classmate of mine this actually requires some background. When I was in, I think it was 7th grade, some of my classmates and I, we started essentially a Beyblade league, where a lot of us had Beyblades that we brought from home, and we brought them to school and would have epic battles and stuff like that. It was a super fun time. I don't know if you ever played with Beyblades, but ooh, tired. I'm not sure if you ever played with Beyblades, but no, they are a super fun time. Like, absolutely goated with a sauce toy. Like, I've been playing with them ever since I was in, since I first learned about them in, like, kindergarten or 1st grade. 3, 2, 1, let it rip, and you were just having a fun time with your mates. It was great. But, we had a Beyblade league, and I had been so out of practice with Beyblading all the time. I didn't even have a stadium anymore, it'd been so long. I had like old Beyblades, so I would use that, and one of my other classmates had a stadium that he would bring in, that's what we would all use. And when the school year ended, we had used that stadium so much that it had gotten worn down and things like that. So I offered to take it so that I could go repair it and maybe even keep it. And the other student was like, go for it, I guess. So I went home that day and tried to fix it with a hot glue gun. And that's why I learned that hot glue guns and hot glue has a much higher melting point than Beyblade Stadium plastic. So I ended up melting through the very thing I was trying to repair. So it ended up not working out, but the Beyblade League that we had, and the memories I have of it, still absolutely great. If you've never played Beyblade before, I strongly recommend it. One of the most fun and simple toys out there. But not Beyblade Burst. They're okay, but nothing hits like Beyblade Metal Fusion. Beyblade peaked at Metal Fusion at this current timestamp in the world. Those are the best kinds of Beyblades. The Burst, the little gimmick around Beyblade Burst, it's kind of neat, I guess, how they explode when they like reach a critical damage point or something like that. It's kind of neat, but you kind of sacrifice just the powerful oomph that Beyblades from previous generations, like Metal Fusion, would give whenever they hit each other. Like if you put a Metal Fusion Beyblade against a Burst Beyblade, it can one-shot it in almost every case. Because in order to create that little burst explosion thing, it requires the Beyblades to be using a lot less force and pressure to be able to spin and things like that. So they're a lot weaker. They're still fun if you're just starting out, if that's all you got. I'm not really sure how easy it is to find Metal Fusion Beyblades in your local Target or wherever right now, but if you can like go on like a eBay or Amazon and find like reasonably priced Metal Fusion Beyblades, do yourself a favor and get them. Alrighty, we got the full spine for this thing assembled, so now we're just going to take the other piece and glue it on top of it. But keep in mind and notice that I've left a little bit of space out back here, and that's for a good reason. You will see in a bit. And as I think about it, it's also a good, it's also really convenient and a blessing that I used bamboo skewers for making this, because that's going to make the next part of this a lot easier too. Just drenching the glue on a little bit here and there, everywhere. Oh, McDonald and his farm. And we just press that on there like so. And then in a minute we'll actually like glue all the seams together and stuff. Thinking of the music that's playing right now, you want a little confession, my dear adventurers? I've never played Plants vs. Zombies. Not once. I just heard specifically, I think it was Loot Balloon, in some meme video back in Year of Our Luigi 2020, and I was like, hey, this music is really good, and then I've been listening to the music of it ever since, but I've actually never actually played the game itself. Maybe one of these days I will. I don't know, I kind of fear that's kind of fallen to the same, fallen victim to the same trap that like Angry Birds or other mobile games for that time have had when, yeah, they still exist, but it's just, it ain't really the same for whatever reason. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But a game that I do love the music and have played before is Undertale. I mentioned before on a previous stream, Undertale was actually the very first game I'd ever played on PC. I was a late bloomer when it came to gaming. I didn't watch a lot of I didn't play a lot of video games as a kid. My parents had me building up my brain muscles instead before I built up my gamer muscles. Honestly, considering how stacked my brain muscles are, I ain't really mad at them for that. I still ended up playing video games in the end, but it just took a little bit long. Took a few more years. But hey, we take those. Why is this piece different than this one? Did I not cut it out properly? That would be very not nice if I didn't. Oh, you know what? I probably cut out the Something is not right here. A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. We must start the new rescue helicopter. You see, when I put it together like this, it looks fine. I don't know, maybe I just need to bend it in shape properly. How very strange. Oh well. We'll still take it. Now, before we do that, let me go and glue the seam closed and everything like that. Yeah. While I'm waiting for this to glue together, let me go read some more comments. Let's see. Popcorn Mountain says, "Hey Jeb, just asking, but whatever happened to your past streams on Twitch? I really want to watch them again." Ah, yes, those streams. So what had happened was, I started on Twitch when I was still my absolute newest to streaming and things like that. So not only are those streams like my worst quality, I guess, so I personally have no incentive to like dig them up from archives and things like that to show to all of you, because I think I do things better today, but that's just my own perfectionism as an artist. If you still want to see them, some of them still are up on Twitch, but the first like 4 or so I did sadly aren't, and are unrecoverable by any means that I am currently knowledgeable of, because I wasn't aware that you had to manually toggle the DVR function on for Twitch streaming. So some of them just never saved to VOD format because I didn't know that was a setting I had to actually toggle at the time. So the later ones are still up and running and things like that. But the earliest ones, they're if you saw them when they first aired, congratulations. You are the only ones among us to ever have seen them and never see them again. As far as I'm concerned, that is a good thing. So that is the story on my earliest streams. Jack of Spades says, "Woo, first stream I ever caught, so excited. Welcome, Jack of Spades. Glad to see you." And Cardboard Hopper says, hi, Jeb. Hi, Cardboard Hopper. Hope you're having a good day today. Or tonight. Wherever time zone you are. Gonna hold this in place. Wait for it to dry. Now I wonder. I don't exactly remember where I put the spine, but I might be able to just staple this part together using the old pliers stapler. Pliers stapler. Chomp. Hey, that worked. Would you look at that? Sweet. Now it's hot glued with the reinforcement of pliers staplers, like concrete and metal wiring built within it. You'll have to see it. You'll have to see it. So that means even when I start closing the seam on this side, it's not going to open up a whole ton on this side. Not a whole ton, at least. Still a little bit. It's not another chomping can't fix. Let's chomp. And we're good to go. Yeah. Let's see here. You know, it might just be worth saving myself the time and trouble and just chomping all of this. Let's see if I can get away with that. Not wrong with a little bit of healthy risk-taking. Kind of uneven, but I kind of like that. It kind of makes the edges look even more jagged. Which is a neat little effect. Whenever I chop it, it almost kind of sounds like the Minecraft select noise whenever you're like at the menu just... Oh, that's funny. Neat. Yeah, we're almost done here. That work? Almost. That part right there might just need glue. We'll see. Come on. Num-nums. Wait, how did that get there? That's just dried hot glue. Did I leave the gun just sitting there? No wonder it's not. Or just not chomping things well. Got a big old gap in it. Much better. Hey. And the beauty of this particular design is that the bulk of these staples are going to be covered up because I've got the detailing piece that's going on top of it. So if you're a real stickler for design and stuff like that and how things visibly look and don't want to see like all the staples on there, a good half of them are going to be covered up when you just put this thing on top of it. I just think that's neat. But I'm not particularly bothered by such things. I just think it adds to the personality of it. A similar reason to why I don't really paint my props. I just think raw cardboard just looks cooler. Do you all also have an Undertale phase, my dear adventurers? Where you got infected with Undertale brain rot? I was a little bit late to the party. But once my first introduction to Undertale was a Pymations video, Papyrus Finds a Human. And it was kind of all downhill from there. But I wonder, everyone's got like that one phase of theirs that they look back on. It's just like, ah yes, that was a part of my personal history. Whether it was Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, Bendy Ink Machine, Homestuck. Everyone's got something. I did get really into FNAF as a youngster as well. Like, really into it. Maybe not really into it, but like, not as into it as I was into Undertale or Star Wars. That was my first real hyperfixation, I think. Star Wars. No, that's not true. It was Transformers. Transformers predates Star Wars by about 5 years in the Jeb timeline. But the point stands. Yeah, I got really into like the FNAF lore and things like that. Primarily through like MatPath's videos, I think. That was like the main catalyst. Because initially, FNAF absolutely terrified me. Like, I was just existing one day in like early middle school, and then FNAF just decided to exist, and then my life was never the same. Because that, at the time, that was the single scare, those animatronics were the single scariest things I had ever seen. And it's kind of funny, a little thing about me is that I have a very square up kind of attitude to things that scare me. Not necessarily in a traditional fight kind of sense, but I would truly believe that the opposite of fear is knowledge. So whenever I had something that absolutely scared the bejesus out of me, I would dedicate a large portion of my time to studying it, learning from it, just overexposing myself to until it no longer affected me. And FNAF was the first thing I really attempted doing that with. And it worked. I watched so many jump scare videos until it no longer affected me. It's kind of a brute strategy, but it was effective. I watched lore videos, I watched reaction videos, I watched the Markiplier videos, until one day I was at a point where not even a single jump scare, image, whatever from FNAF actually had any real effect on me. That was until a man called Baddington entered the scene. Baddington made me feel fear like nothing I had felt since the prime of my introduction to FNAF. If you're not familiar, Baddington is a analog horror savant. He has a YouTube channel where he makes a lot of analog horror series, specifically Harmony and Horror. It's his primary little labor of love. And that was like some of the single scariest things I'd ever seen at the time. It was incredible. As an avid horror enthusiast, which I guess is a direct consequence of my decision to overexpose myself to horror, I absolutely love this kind of stuff Baddington makes and what he's doing with it. Like when he started remaking the Squimpus FNAF tapes, Lord have mercy. Oof. I still think about Pirate Cove pre-show sometimes. Good gracious alive. That man is talented. But yeah. Harvard Hopper says, I was once traumatized by the animatronics too. Neat. Also asks, are you going to make another katana? Another katana. Yeah, eventually at some point. A few streams ago, someone asked me if I was going to make the rest of Zoro's swords, because, you know, I made Shizui once and then later Enma. So that leaves Sendai Katetsu, the one he lost in like Annie's Lobby, and of course the classic Wadoichi Munji. So yeah, I'll probably get around to making most, if not all of them, eventually. I mean, around this time would be actually really great to do so, considering in the anime he's currently in the middle of his fight with King on Wano. That'd be neat. But that aside, ta-da! We have pretty much gotten the base of the design done. All that's left to do is two parts. One, it's the wrapping of the handle, and two, putting a hole. Ooh, excuse me. Putting a hole into the handle to make the to thread the chains through, and then making the actual chains. I mentioned earlier it's convenient that we're using bamboo skewers, because... no, this one's not of much use. Eat. Let's get a fresh one. Because bamboo skewers have this nice little edge to them, which means that I can go whoop, all the way through like that. A lot easier. Making sure to watch out for my hands so I don't accidentally stab into it. Yeah. This song takes me back to... Temmies are like one of my favorite incidental characters in any game or show or anything like that I've watched. Temmies are just like the Neko arcs of Undertale, and I just love them for it. It reminds me of when I first watched Jacksepticeye's playthrough of Undertale, which, while not my introduction to Undertale, was actually my introduction to Jacksepticeye. And he remains today to be like one of my top 5, maybe closer to the top 10 favorite YouTubers out there. It was all thanks to those Undertale videos to start. Do not try what I'm doing at home. There are infinitely better ways of doing this. I'm just tired and lazy. Don't be like me. Being like me is how you get Demon Core incidents. Okay. But that aside, we're actually going to skip a few of these pages because we technically don't need them, because I just copied them by tracing them out and everything like that here. So we're just going to skip over to these 2 pages of interest. The handle wrapping and the chain links. So let me go to my under the table cardboard stash. Grab some more cardboard. Or maybe we might even be able to use some of the scraps we just cut out here. Or at least some parts of this. I said last stream I liked being able to use... Oops, sorry. I said last stream I like being able to use every part of... as much of the box as I can before fully discarding it. This is one of those cases. So, case in point. This piece right here, this has still got a nice big old flap on it. We don't need to get rid of that just yet. We just cut that off right there, and we can use all of this to make chain links. Resourcefulness is a key attribute of boxsmiths. We will practice it at any point in time we can get. Remember that. Magical Wizard says, it's like the Roadhog hook. Yeah, you're right, it kind of is. I think his is a bit bigger, though. But, that would be something fun to make one of these days. We'll see, we'll see. Popcorn Mountain says, I'm most definitely trying this at home. No, no, no. There are many things I do you can imitate, that is not one of them. Do as I say, not as I do. Gracious, I sound like a dad. Gracious me. Alrighty. Cardboard Hopper says, I like Undertale, the theme songs sound good. Completely agree. Snake the Snake says, I want to play Undertale, but I don't have a computer, so I can only play Deltarune. Ah, yeah. I know the struggles. I didn't get a computer I could run games on until I was in, like, late middle school. Keep up the hope. That's all I have to say to you, Snake the Snake. Keep up the hope. Continue to think about what it'd be like to have, computer things like that. Never give up on the dream of having computer things like that can actually run competent games. I didn't play a whole lot of video games, but that didn't stop me from learning about them. I still don't own a console like a PlayStation or Xbox. Never did as a kid. By the time the Switch came out, I was already in, like, high school and stuff like that. But, I eventually got my own gaming PC, or close to one, a gaming laptop in, my senior year of high school, and that's how I've been playing most of all of my games. But let me tell you something about that. Let me tell you something a little bit about that. Excuse me. Let me tell you something a little bit about that Scythe the Snake. You are eventually going to get a proper computer that can run any game that you imagine. And hang on, this is important. This Scythe the Snake and all of you who are like holding out hope for something that you want one day, you are going to get it one day. Scythe the Snake, you are going to get a laptop, you are going to get a computer that can run the games you want to play one of these days. You just need to keep holding on, thinking about it. Never give up on the idea of it, because only when you give up on the idea of it is when you're actually completely taking yourself out of the running for it ever happening. One of these days you are going to get the computer of your dreams, and you're going to look back on times like this, and you're going to be even more grateful for what you have now, because you look back and think about the times when all you had was just your Switch, assuming that's what you have, since you said you could play Deltarune on it. And you're going to look back on that and just feel really special and grateful and proud of yourself that you held out for so long, and that you now are reaping the benefits of your dreams and what you sowed and things like that. So keep the faith, don't give up on it. It'll eventually be yours, and it'll feel all the more better when you actually do have it. That is all. Let us resume. So, where were we? I don't think this piece is big enough for the handle wrapping parts, so I think we're just gonna start making chain links with it. Yeah, and I can do like roughly half of the chain links that we need. Because I was the one who designed this thing, I can already tell you that we don't need to cut out all of these individually, because at the end of the day, they're just cardboard rectangles. So I'm just going to do here, get the approximate shape of them. There's no rule saying that they can't be too long or too short. Well, actually there kind of is. The size I marked out here is the appropriate perfect size. But if you make your chains a little bit longer or a little bit shorter than that, then it'll work just as fine. Trust me. Alrighty then. So with that, we should be able to get a lot of different chain links. This knife's going to need a bit of sharpening at some point. Let me do that right now while I'm thinking about it. Grab my trusty sharpener. What else was I looking for? I don't remember. Now it'll come back to me in time. Let's see here. Jack of Spades says, it reminds me of the Scythe thingies that the wolf from Puss in Boots 2 had. Yes, I can see where you'd say that. But I mentioned earlier in the stream, I actually designed these almost 2 years before the movie came out. But hey, whatever helps you associate them with it, that's fine by me. He also says, would you consider making a transformable Optimus Prime suit? I would love to do something like that. Advanced geometry, like things that transform into things, is very tricky, but when done right, oh, it looks so cool. A transformer suit like Optimus Prime, you know, if I thought about it, you know, when I was in middle school, I thought for a Halloween costume I would make a Bumblebee thing, but that never ended up happening. It was a skill issue, and primarily I ended up making Louie's body instead. But the Optimus Prime, I never thought about that, but in hindsight, it just seems so perfect. He's my favorite Autobot. He's the Autobot you know how they say everyone has that one movie or TV show they watch as a kid that like completely defines their personality when they get older? That was Transformers for me. I essentially modeled my personality as a kid after Optimus Prime. Like the G1 Transformers, the one my dad first introduced me to, the '86 movie, like core memories of my childhood. The Bayformers films, garbage as they may be by like traditional movie standards, excellent junk food films. I enjoy them for the special place they have in my heart as a kid. I think they got better over time, and hear me out on this, because that is a very hot take in the Transformers community. As far as as far as actual quality is concerned, as what you think of when that makes a movie good, absolutely not. I think the movies got arguably worse every new one. But when I look at the Transformers movie, I'm looking for a couple of things specifically. Giant robots fighting each other and batshit absurdity. And the further along we got into the movies, the more of that we got. We went from, like, each following movie, it felt like they were trying less and less hard to take the plot seriously. And that is something I personally really enjoyed about it. Like, I abandoned the thought of any intelligent work coming from the movies a long time ago. So now I just, whenever they came out, back when they did, I just enjoyed them for just being a fun experience and just a nice way to turn your brain off. And it got easier to do once they started, like, introducing fucking King Arthur shit into it, like the last one. It's like, anytime, it's always a fun time anytime I try to explain, like, the plot of any of the later Transformers movies. It's just, it's hard to not have an enjoyable time when you do that. It's like, basically what happened was, so you remember the story of, it's like, you go start with, like, so you know the moon landing? You know the moon landing? It turns out that was actually the government investigating an alien robot ship crash landing on the moon, and only, like, the president and, like, 4 people who founded NASA knew about it up until now. And it has all this dramatic footage of, like, deep-faked John F. Kennedy talking about how we need to go to the moon because there's alien robots and technology on there. We don't want the Soviets to have it first. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then we get to absolutely absurd stuff. Like, you know the story of King Arthur? Yeah, all of that happened. Not only did all that happen, but Transformers were at the center of it. Several of the Knights of the Round Tables were 40-foot-tall robots that formed together to make a dragon. And it's just... And the main plot of it is, like, Merlin had a staff, and his staff is actually the key to, like, remake Cybertron, the homeworld of the Transformers. And the protagonist's love interest in this movie is a great descendant of Merlin. And the secret society is helping her find the staff again so she can use it to, I guess, not have the Decepticons have it. I don't know, it's been years since I saw the movie. But it gets into absolutely maniacally absurd territory, and I've come to really enjoy that. So, rant aside, Popcorn Mountain says you should make a new axe. Well, that would be kind of fun. Speaking of all of this talk about Transformers, maybe we can model it after Optimus, as they used in, like, the 3rd movie onward, too. Time to find out. If you know, you know. I also just love the argument that just how unnecessarily violent the movies are, and, like, how if the Transformers were like humans, those movies would be, like, horrific. Just the way that they fight each other. And I completely agree, and that's just... Transformers 2, Optimus jumps on a Decepticon's back, puts 2 giant hooks in his mouth, and rips his head in half. You try to show a human doing that, that wouldn't even get into a movie. That's like some Mortal Kombat type shit. But no, Transformers 3, PG-13 rating. Why? Because it happened to a robot. It sounds like the robot that he did that to was even pleading for his life. It's like, it kind of sounds like Robot Jones, but kind of sounds like he's saying, like, no, please, Prime! As he's getting ripped after saying, no, please, Prime. Optimus has, like, actually, like, executed Decepticons while they've been pleading for their life, brutally. And it's just hilarious. Megatron saved his life in the 3rd movie. How does he thank him? Axe to the head. Ripped his spine out with it. It was just like, God damn! What? He just saved your life, man! That's how you treat him? It's just crazy. But all in all, a very enjoyable time. I don't know why this took so long to cut out. Anyways. Jack of Spades says, you mentioned Transformers 2086. How do you feel about Unicron and Rise of the Beasts? I am so ready for that. I gotta say, I'm not as a huge fan of the newer Transformers movies, specifically because, you know, we're back in the territory of actually trying to take the plot seriously and everything like that. Like Bumblebee had its moments. Like the first 10 minutes was the most I was invested in Bumblebee, honestly. The rest of it felt a little bit like I feel like it's a little too harsh to compare it to a to a Disney Channel movie, but it was less of what I was looking for in that particular kind of film once it got past that point. But this movie looks like it's gonna be a lot more of the kind of stuff that I'm particularly looking into it, and the design for Unicron, the introduction of Unicron being in this movie, I am so ready for that. That just looks like so much fun. So yes, you best believe I'm going to be in that theater waiting to see what's happening there. It'd be kind of cool if they did an homage to the one scene where Unicron um reboots Galvatron and all of his minions, because you see there's like one shot in the trailer where he's with Scourge, like the main villain of the movie. He's like talking to him. He's probably like the one who like gives him his army, just like he does in the G1 movie. That'd be kind of neat. I'd absolutely watch that. Oh, the music cut out again. We gotta fix that. Yes, I am continuing to watch it. Please resume my WC Claire de Lune from the Ultra Kill Ost. Yes. Excellent. So if you can tell what I'm doing here is just basically folding these into the rough shape of a chain. So in a minute, once we've got all of them, we're just going to actually glue them together into an actual proper chain link. And then we're going to thread that through this. All things a good time, all things a good time. Speaking of Claire de Lune, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once with my mom and my sister, and let me tell you, that was one of the greatest experiences I have ever had. It's almost criminal to call that thing just a mere movie. That was an experience and a half. Solid film. Probably the best thing A24 has made. Like, that's another core memory for me. It's just like my mom, my sister, and I just walked out of that theater and just sat in silence for like a solid 5 minutes, because we were all just like that deeply moved by the movie. It easily won every single award it earned at like the last Oscars or something like that. Like, without a doubt. Alrighty, so all of the links are roughly formed into the shape that we need, so we're just going to put them to the side for right now, because there's a crucial step we need to do first before we actually do that. And that is to... What was it again? I don't know, but I'm certain that I'll figure it out after we take our water break. Happening in every stream we have the water breaks. We have this absolutely monstrous, pretentious liquid holder here with me today, and we are going to hydrate. I've got my water. I want all of you to have some sort of water and join me in this time of hydration, keeping our body as healthy as we be good boxsmiths and things like that. So, if you would kindly grab some sort of vessel of water and join me, and we are about to begin. Woo! Woo! One entire pretentious liquid holder successfully consumed. We stay hydrated in this house. We consume. We stay healthy in this house. Ugh. 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 Lord have mercy. Well, that was fun. I hope all of you stayed nice and hydrated yourselves. Now let's get back to it. It's always nice when you drink enough water that you just like feel... You just feel in your head like you can start seeing all the colors again. It's a fantastic feeling. I did not glue this all the way. Let me go fix that. Oh, good, I got that part. It was just the other one I was missing. Good. Real good. Ooh. Snack the Snake says, you look like you're about to pass out. I'm completely fine, Snack the Snake. There's no need to worry. But you should all be careful not to drink more water than you're capable of at home. I am very practiced. That's why I'm able to consume so much safely. Be safe when you're consuming your water. Like, genuinely, please. I was able to consume that much, but that's roughly my limit at this point in timestamp. Like, if I drink much more, that I would probably feel sick. But I don't, because I've taught myself how to gauge how much I can safely consume, and all of you should do the same. Don't drink too much water for vanity. I just found that drinking it in big things like that is just the fun way that I find to actually ensure that I drink a healthy amount of water every day in the first place. It's like a game for me. That's why I do it. But no, I am completely aware of my limits as a consumer of hydration. But I appreciate your concern, Snack the Snake. It means a lot. Let's see here. That's right, I need a piece of cardboard big enough to make the handle wrapping. Let's see here. This'll do. You know, this actually presents a good time for me to give you all a lesson in proper box disassembly. Proper box disassembly. It's kind of cool how the cardboard kind of like completely muffles my... Why is this mouse not working? Oh, there we go. Great. It's kind of neat how my microphone over here, if you can kind of see it, it kind of muffles my voice whenever I have cardboard in front of it like this. You see, I'm talking normally, the cardboard in front of it like this. You barely hear me, then I'm talking to you like this, you can hear me again. Sound is fun. But as I was saying, this provides a good opportunity for me to teach you all the basics of proper cardboard disassembly. Because there actually is a right and wrong way of going about it. Or maybe less a right and wrong way, but more there is a more efficient way of going about it. What if I told you every cardboard box is built with an Achilles heel? Every box you encounter has a small little tab like this that's basically where it was initially assembled from. Yeah, right there. See that? That's how the box was held together. As a boxsmith, this is a crucial information for you to know. Because if you just simply take the box and gently tear along that line, 9 times out of 10, you'll get a clean break in two. Like that. See? And then from there, you now have a completely unfolded box of cardboard. Look at all that stuff. This is like longer than my ruler here, my meter stick. It's like a good... like a good 4 3/4 feet of cardboard. All from one box. When you cut them like that, you don't have to worry about losing any of your raw material here. So that's perfect for making swords or axes or whatever you want to use. There's a way of cutting them that are more ideal for different things. Like if you want to cut a sword out of cardboard, you typically want the one long uninterrupted piece. So notice the fold lines that a box has. What you're going to want to do is just cut a cardboard along those fold lines all the way through. So that leaves you with the main meaty piece in the center that you can make your blade or blades with, and then all these little flat pieces here and here that you can use for smaller detailing parts. It just makes it a lot easier. Like this flap that you cut off here, you can actually mold and shift to make it to your handle and things like that. So yeah. But on contrast, if you want something that's a little bit shorter, like if you're not making a sword but you're making like an axe or something like that, you can cut it along these lines over here. So you get yourself 4 pieces like this that you can use. So a piece like this is big and long enough to make and cut out something like this. You keep these flaps, but you cut it along this one. It all depends on the type of thing that you want to make. So that's just useful information for a boxsmith to have. The way that you cut your box, it can change depending on the project that you're trying to use. It can change. Yeah. The project that you're making can dictate how you want to cut the box that you're using to make it. That is the lesson here today. So yeah, let's just move to the side. And based on what I just taught you, you should understand that in order to cut out these pieces, it makes sense for us to cut the box which way? That's right, this way. Splendid. Welcome back, Suspicious Toast. You're just in time to see us cut out some of the detail in here. Now, this is approximately yay long. To make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to use my... I just got this from a thrift store a couple weeks ago. It's exciting that I first have the opportunity to use it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I'm just going to use this to Marie Antoinette this little cardboard here. Which direction does it go? Am I using this thing correctly? I don't think I am. Just this way. Ah, this right here is actually one of my favorite songs in Deltarune. I now see why this thing was at a thrift store. It appears to not cut paper well anymore. So, is it just completely unsalvageable, or can we repurpose it for something like, say, cutting cardboard? Cardboard's a lot more thick and durable, so maybe it can find use for me by chopping into... No, this poor darling is just completely dulled. It got a little bit of the way through, but not too far. Unfortunate, but what can you do? I might be able to... Now hear me out here. Now hold on. Let me cook. There we go. If I were to take my sharpener, I've had stupider ideas. Get lined there. Maybe if that's a... What if I were to... Robot, fetch me my wrench! The robot's gonna find my wrench. We're using needle-nose pliers instead. Is this even turning? Oh my god, it's actually working. Let me cook, chat. My dear adventurers, let me cook here. This might actually work. Hold on. I just opened that all the way up. And opened this all the way up. Oh, we might be onto something. Which way does the blade go? That way. Yeah, I can feel where it's dull and where it's sharp. Come on. Come on. That's right. Work with me. It's a bit close to the mic, my bad. Let me just... There we go. Holy beans, I think this is actually working. Let's give it a test. Okay. It's not passing the paper test. Not giving up on it just yet. Bring me cardboard. Just be my cardboard shopper. Assembling boxes. Come on. Holy heck. We got ourselves, at the very minimum, a cardboard shopper. Hey, we take those. We take those in this house. We take those. I now have an easier way to break down boxes when I first start making them. Not what I initially had in mind, but hey, I can work with that. We can work with that. Come on. Oh. Now, where did that piece go? Did it do like that, or did it just go in like so, or that? Interesting. I think this piece in here went in the middle of it. I might fix that off stream. Yeah, I'll just fix that off stream. But I have the parts, and I know it works. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, that'll be a personal project. You'll see it again whenever it becomes needed again. Now, where were we? Ah, there we go. Andel. Now we're just going to use the old scissors. Yeah. Nice. Alrighty, from there I could just kind of gauge how much I need to cut. Did I ever sharpen this knife? Do y'all remember? I don't. No matter. Seems to be doing a fine enough job anyways. So we're just gonna assume that it's perfectly sharpened. Now I, for one, am actually very excited because I've not had a need to do this handle technique in quite a few builds. So it'll be neat to show people how to do it again. I'm quite looking forward to it, actually. Another thing I really like about my boxsmithing gauntlet is that it gives extra traction whenever I'm doing something that involves me cutting with a ruler. I naturally have great finger dexterity, but using the glove just, like, gives you that, you know, extra level of grip. That really helps with... that really helps with boxsmithing and cutting things out. Excellent. We are nearly finished. We're just gonna clumsily rip this piece out. Yeah. Come on. Alrighty, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. How many gamers are in my store? Oh, he's boxsmithing. I don't really need this piece anymore. Let's just discard that. And we're left with this. Let me just put that back there. Readjust my arm. Yeah, that'll do. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so for this we're going to be doing a technique that I have not done in a minute. And that is the art of wrapping handles with cardboard. To start out, what I like to do is take these two pieces and then just glue them together. Because that was the main intention for this in the first place. If you happen to have a long piece of cardboard, that works perfectly fine too. But in this particular case, it's just easier. If I want to put on a piece of paper for making a template out of it, it's just the easier way to handle it. And what we're going to do is take this one piece, for, you know, the one piece is real. And you just glue it on at a slight diagonal. Like so. And you just wrap it around the entirety of the handle in kind of like a candy cane shape. Like so. And if we did our math and stuff correct, we should have just enough to finish, yep, like that. Just enough to finish wrapping around all the parts of it. So it looks like that. Like so. And then you can just secure it by gluing the final little piece. There we go. You just secure it by gluing this little piece right here. and then just wrapping it on the little part right there. And you're all good. And that's how you do that half of it, at least. And you just let that dry, if it cooperates with you. Thank you. If it cooperates with you. Ouch! Ooh, lordy la. La-di-da. It goes around the world like la la la. You just have it wrap around like so, and glue it together. Hopefully you don't glue yourself. Hopefully you don't burn yourself with the glue like I did. And, yeah. Let's see here. So that accounts for roughly half of it. Oops, yeah, there we go. That accounts for roughly half of it. Notice we still have the other two pieces here. We're going to use that. Like so. There isn't a real, what's I'm looking for, amount for how much of the two pieces you should have glued together. But I just like roughly an inch. Roughly an inch of it glued together. That gives you approximately the length you need. So we're going to wait for that to fully dry. And then we are going to go around the opposite side of the one we just went on. Like this. So let's just glue that into place right there. Start over here. That should be good. You just put that there. Wait for that to glue and set. Read some comments. If you see a person that looks identical to you, run away and hide. I deceive them. I will know their greatest fears. It's always nice to see a fellow fan of Mandela Catalog in the chat. I'm sorry if you have no idea what Mandela Catalog is. That must have looked very, very alarming to you, and I apologize for that. But back to work. We're going to just finish wrapping this around the other side, and by going diagonally like this, we create an effect that looks like this, where it looks like it's being wrapped like a I'm not totally sure what to compare it to, but it's just a nice little wrapping effect. Gives it a neat little look like this. And you just go around and around. Make sure that on all sides it goes back and forth like that. And presto. We're just gonna glue it off at this point right here. And we will be good. Like so. Yeah. Look at us go. So now, once that has dried, we will have completed the actual hook. Look at that. It looks really good. Yeah. That should just be about done drying. And then with that being done, we have two options here whenever you make this template yourself. You can just leave it as is and just have a simple little... Hang on. You have two options. You can either leave it as is and just have a simple, cool scythe hook like this. Or what you could do is this next part of it, add some chains to it. Oops, dropped one. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. Basically, we're just going to take one chain here. And there are two ways you can go about doing this. You have the tools like a drill. You can tunnel it right into it like there. And thread it all the way through. But if you don't, the safer alternative, which I prefer you all do, instead of trying to use other tools like a makeshift drill and risk piercing your hands, which I really don't want you to do, you can just take it and glue it onto the outside. Like so. Just bend it into a proper loop like that. And that is the start of your chain link. Right then and there. And then from there, what you're going to do is, just wait for this to dry. You want it to look a little more properly chain-like. You can just use your finger, go in there and just form it a bit better like so. So it has a better shape. And from there, you can just keep taking your chain links and just threading them into it and gluing on the other side. And just really keep going until you reach the desired length that you wish for. Don't worry about that. So 2 links there. And just keep going on and on and on. Throw your hands up in the air sometime, saying, "Ayo, baby, let's go."
Why'd you piss off that ant? I didn't.
What? Oh no. Oh no. Who was that? Sorry about that. I forgot to accidentally cue just a random video I would have watched in my free time into the stream music. We haven't gotten that far into the music in a while, so I was surprised that it actually played again. But you know, here we are. So that's fun. Yeah. So as I was saying, you just keep going up and up and up further. Taking it, grab on a little hot glue, pinching it together. Slowly but surely, you'll end up with a full and proper chain. If you so desire, you can use your fingers to like form the shape a little bit more. But that is essentially how cardboard chains are made. So now you essentially have a hook and chain. Oh no, my finger got stuck. There we go. So with that, you have essentially completed your boxsmith hook and chain. I call this little thing the flamingo. By the end of the week, the template for it will be available on my website, and also by the end of the week, I'll have it calibrated so we can have a little raffle of sorts, so that if you want to be able to get this very one that I have built, you can actually put yourself in the raffle to be able to actually have this shipped to you. Since there's only one of in existence and things like that. But that'd be for members of the that'd be behind a membership paywall. But all of that in good time. But the bottom line is we have finished making our lovely, lovely hook. And with the old I have not seen the movie, but Death is just such a cool character. I've learned even his whistle through nerd osmosis. So yeah, fun hook. Make 2 of them, make it look like a heart or something like that. You can have a whole lot of fun with these. Make the chain super long and do like cool tricks with it, like I did in that one video I did about it. It's a fun time. So that concludes our build for today, but that does not conclude the stream. For now, it is time for community creation. Showcase! There we go. Immunity Creation Showcase. We are showing off the wonderful, wonderful creations you in our community have made by submitting onto our Discord server. So, let us begin. Wrong button. Right button. There we go. Now, let us begin. First up. There we go. Had to get it up. First up, we have Ted, who has sent us Shelf 2.0. Oh, excuse me. Now, I really dig this because this reminds me when I was first starting out as a locksmith. Excuse me. I myself really wanted to make a shelf of sorts myself because I had a bunk bed at the time, and I wanted an efficient way to drop toys from my top bunk down to my table down below. So I thought maybe like a big old shelf slide made out of cardboard would be the way to do that. I never got around to making it, but the idea was still there. And seeing someone actually like going through and go above and beyond that very concept in their own life, I just really think that's neat. So good job, Ted. Excellent work. Next up, we've got a P90 sent to us by Splitzer. Really cool indeed. Really, really cool. I don't make a lot of guns out of cardboard, but there's no denying that cardboard locksmith gunsmiths are quite talented, and Spitzer is definitely one of them. P90. I run a P90 build when I play Payday 2 sometimes, so I'm very familiar with the weapon. It's a very neat design. Yeah, that's definitely a P90. It looks just like one, but cardboard. Yo, Epic Games, if you by chance wanna add a expansion pack to Fortnite where things are made out of cardboard and drop me into the game, I would not be mad at that. You know, you can reach me at my business email, contact me at jefftheboxsmith.com. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, back to work. P90, very neat looking. Good job, Spencer. Here we have something from our primary admin in the server and friend of mine, Faye Helmet. An armor that she completed in one afternoon, she says. Very, very nice. You should go check out Faye's stuff. She's on TikTok too. Next up, Banana Man Please sends us, just made this last night for a school history project. It is a tank. I don't play many tank games, so I'm not really sure, or not tank games, nor I've got tank games on the ring because I recently watched the Russian Badgers video on War Thunder. I don't know if this is a replica of a real-life tank, but even if it is, whether it is really cool looking. And I forgot to put in the slideshow here, but there's actually a little function in the tank that if you open one of these compartments, you can actually house a little army man. I saw that Banana Man sent that as well. I just think that's really neat. I just love attention to detail in crafts like that. So, excellent job there, Banana Man. Excellent job indeed. Next up, Cactus Boy 25 brings us goggles for an SCP MYF cosplay. I know SCP. I'm not really sure. I'm not really familiar with MYF, but from the appearance of it, I'm assuming it's one of the on-site guardsmen on there, maybe related to that one game for it that came out recently. I don't know. Either way, Cactus Boy looks really good. I like it a lot. A lot of people have asked me if I would ever make goggles out of cardboard, and fun fact, I actually did try it once. And they didn't look the best. They kind of looked like they kind of looked like donuts on my head. The thing I like about my current goggles is the little like detail and stuff on them, and I could make something that detailed out of cardboard if I wanted to, but I just don't, honestly. I don't know. I think I'm really big on the idea of subtlety in design, and I think on top of my massive cardboard gauntlet and everything like that, cardboard goggles on top of that would just be a bit too much, you know? The whole base design of my appearance is just like the nice base, and then yeah, it's cardboard as the flare on top of that. It like explains the goggles and the mask tell you that this is a person who works in a field that's mechanically inclined, and the big old gauntlet tells you that I am a boxsmith. You know, says I work with cardboard. So you put the whole appearance together, you get that is the boxsmith. So yeah, any more cardboard in my appearance, I think will be too much. But if you can make cardboard goggles work, if you can pull off cardboard goggles, absolutely do it. More power to you. And these cardboard goggles are really neat. I like the ingenuitive use of different materials, like I think that's colored in Sharpie. I'm not sure how well you can see like that, but I still really dig the idea to do that. I think that might be an actual elastic strap from real goggles. So all in all, really good build. Next up, we've got Akuto, who is sent. So I just combined a lot of some axes from Google, and behold, this behemoth came out. Its name is Behemoth. Oh wait, hold on. We can get crazy with this. Hold on. Go with it. Behemoth. Behemoth. Very cool, Akuto. Very cool indeed. I really like that idea, taking a bunch of different axe designs from the internet and then putting them together to make one cool creation. I really like the use of the stripped what's the word looking for? An epidermis? I don't know, that the first layer of the cardboard skin stripped off to give that little rough texture effect. I really think that's neat. I wonder what if anything, you used to make the spine for the actual blade of the axe. Because that's something I've always had some issue with when making axes in general. That's why I currently haven't made a lot of them. I mean, I totally can, it's just I've never had much incentive to, because I have to figure out how to get around making elaborate designs, but also giving them a very stable spine and things like that. My Leviathan axe is a happy accident, because I happen to have a lantern staff that I used that had a piece of metal that was built into it, so it had that perfect curve that I was able to make it into the actual axe and things like that. But, you know, it's not a particularly common piece to have, to find, so. But point aside, it's a really nice axe. You should be very proud of yourself. Next up, Ted wanted to show off a completed chest plate that they made for this work-in-progress armor that they've got here. I think it's really cool. I really dig the sword. It reminds me of Asta's sword from Black Clover. The Crusader aesthetic is really neat. All in all, really good job. I really like the blending of both cardboard and what appears to be duct tape to add not only, I'm assuming, some structural support as in holding it together, but also like paint and design and everything like that. It's really cool. You should be proud of yourself, Ted. Let's see here. I need battle pass. Says, my first katana, it's pretty sharp and sturdy. I also cut paper and something cardboard. Yeah, I love it, I love it. First katana, let's go. Really neat. I really dig how you like use like cardboard wrapping for the Suba. It's a really neat design choice. You even made it a sheath. Coming from personal experience, making a sheath out of cardboard and making it look good is not particularly easy. So, props to you, Battle Pass. That looks really good, especially for your first attempt. And can also cut stuff too? Shh, even better. Good job. I Don't Care has made some sickles and also dual-wielding Viking axes. Ah! What irony. You're making sickles here today too. And the axes look really cool. I really dig the Viking aesthetic. It reminds me of, not properly identical. It reminds me of the whole "Witness me" thing from Mad Max Fury Road. Like I just imagine like a Viking ready to enter Valhalla, mortally wounded but two axes in hand, just jumping from a cliff into the enemies below, shouting, "Witness me!" Looking at those axes makes me think of that. I just think that's kind of neat. Good job, I Don't Care. I really like the use of duct tape to give off the appearance of metal, and also leather or down here and things like that. And if I'm looking at this correctly, that looks like you used masking tape and then duct tape on top of that to create like variation, like proper like wrapping on it. I think that's really neat. Very creative indeed. Good job. Potato has made Young Vi / Vander's gauntlets from Arcane. Not an exact replica, and because they use too much hot glue, but I can still see it. I can still absolutely see it. Sometimes you don't always need the exact replica. Sometimes you're in the middle of boxsmithing something, and you just realize that you're not going to be able to get it perfectly, so you might as well just deviate and do your own thing. As I've done that plenty of times. It's a completely valid strategy. But as for the designs themselves, they look really cool, and it's been a couple months since I last saw Arcane, but from what my memory says, yeah, it looks exactly like them. So, great job. Ugh, Arcane, though. Really good show, but ugh. My emotions. AutoCares also said, someone asked me what sword my PE teacher was going to use, but I didn't have a picture of it. So apparently, from what I've seen in the chat, there is lore behind this sword. Basically, I Don't Care has challenged their PE teacher to trial by combat, which is awesome. One, based PE teacher. Two, also I Don't Care to actually, challenge their PE teacher. So you know what? I'm not sure if the fight's happened just yet. But let me back you up. I will give your weapon of choice. I know it's not exactly this one, but whatever one you choose, I shall give it the blessing of a boxsmith. As I, Jeb the Boxsmith, decree, may this weapon used by user I Don't Care strike true. May he strike down all opponents who dare trespass upon them. May the weapon serve its purpose, stay together, and when it's time it's done, may it be put to rest, and may the stories behind it be told for generations. Your weapon now has the blessing of the Boxsmith. Go forth and fight. Popcorn Mountain says the fight is in the Boxsmith showcase. Oh, really cool, it already happened. Well, the blessing still stands for whatever weapon you use in future duels. It has the blessing of the Boxsmith. Cardboard Trench Raider has this music isn't really the right vibe for this. That's better. Yeah. Cardboard Trench Raider, who's also on TikTok, you should check him out, says, I put my stuff on backwards. I'm sorry, just the way it is types reminds me of, I'm gonna put my cat on the mic. But it's a really cool arsenal here. The Cardboard Trench Raider makes a lot of like World War I inspired armaments out of cardboard. It's really neat. I really dig the subculture of boxsmiths who make stuff out of weapon replicas of iconic weaponry from history, things like that. Like, it appears we've got a... Is that an M1 Garand? It would make sense for the time period, but it also looks like a couple of other guns, like the Nagant and stuff like that. My knowledge of classic firearms is alright. It's not stellar, but it's alright. But still, the gear, the drip goes hard. You should be very proud of yourself, Trench Raider. Give him hell. Alright, Grassy Needs Katana has 2 submissions here. It says, making Zora's Sendai Katetsu Katana, and a work in progress glitch pop dagger from Valorant. Oh, neat! I know what the Sendai Katetsu looks like. I have never played Valorant, so I'm not really sure what the glitch pop dagger looks like, but it still looks really neat. Both designs are really good. Yeah, you can tell from the Suba that that's definitely Sendai Katetsu. It has that type of design. That one and Shizui both have that similar shape. I don't really know what to call it, but like you know when you see it. But all in all, it looks really good. Excellent job with it. I really like these. I think that's both paint and tape for the glitch pop dagger. And if I'm looking at that correctly, I think that might be a Walmart box that they're using. Could be wrong, though. It's been a while since I've last used a Walmart box. I'm more of a Lowe's guy myself, honestly. Amazon also makes good stuff, too. It's got a nice little texture to it. Maybe one of these days I'll do like a cardboard quality tier list. That sounds like fun. Crimson Tide says, "This is my first time posting here, and I just wanted to show off my first cardboard sword ever." If that's your first cardboard sword, that's incredible. A couple of years, you might put me out of a job. Damn. That's really good. You should be quite proud of yourself. First cardboard sword. Woo-wee! We've got a talented one on our hands. Good job, Crimson Tides. I don't care is back. And this one I wanted to put into things because it really emphasizes the point I've been trying to make all this time about how A, critical it is to use spines in your builds, but B, also how you can use virtually anything as a spine. Case in point, I don't care has used a mop stick, a mop handle, for his sword for their sword here. And I just think that's great. I just love like I would love to like meet one of y'all at like a convention at some point and y'all just pull up with your carbon weapon and you're like, yeah, there's a mic stand inside of this thing. And that's what you use as a spine. It's like pull up with like the most obscure thing you could think of that you use as a spine. Like backpackless day at a school spirit fair. It's like, nah, this is my cardboard axe, but for the spine I used 12 hangers rubber banded together. Or like this is my cardboard power armor, and I used the entirety of an unassembled IKEA bookshelf to make it. The possibilities are endless. I might like make that as a design challenge for a community creation showcase some point down the line. It's like we'll make an event out of it. That sounds like fun. All right, who we got next? Cool sword, sent in by the Purple Teletubby. Oh, that is a really cool sword. It also reminds me of Ostis from Black Clover. It's really neat indeed. And every boxsmith needs at some point to make a sword that dwarfs them in size. That's just really cool. Just having a sword that's just as big, if not bigger than you are, it's just a power move. One of these days, I gotta do that too. Currently, like the biggest sword I've got on me is this one I have back here. This is about give or take 5 feet even. I'm about 5 feet 10 if my last doctor's appointments go off anything. So not quite taller than me. But one of these days, yeah, I'm definitely gonna make something that like dwarfs me in size. It's like, that sounds like so cool. Good job, Purple Teletubby. Very neat. And Winged Hussar 6 has made a rapier. Anytime Sabaton has ruined me. Anytime I see this person's username, I just think of When the Winged Hussars Arrived. Great song. Sabaton, or as I like to call them, Schoolhouse Metal, quality band. They're the only reason why I know what day D-Day actually took place, because 6th of June 1944, Allies are turning the war. Quality stuff. But Winged Hussar 6 has made a rapier. Very nice, very classy. I like the usage of different things like tape to mold and form all the different parts of it. Very neat, very elegant. I like it a lot. Good job, Winged Hussar 6. Met, who's actually relatively a newcomer in our community, has made both a Domino's building based one in their local community and a car. Very, very neat. I respect the dedication to be constantly scanning the layout of a building like Domino's enough that you can almost perfectly recreate the interior from memory. And actually doing it, because like I've thought of doing stuff like that before, where it's like, oh, I've lived in this house, maybe I can like recreate it from carpet. I'm just like, nah, I'll do it. I'll do it another time that I never do. So you actually went and did that, and I think that's really neat. Keep going. It's great stuff, and the car looks really cool too. I'm curious for what the skeleton of that car looks like. Like, is it hollow in there except for just the cardboard that makes it? Is it built around another object like a toy car or something like that? An action figure that's been cast of Amontillado in there? I don't know. I'm curious. Next up, Dumb Stupid has brought us a katana. And I really dig this katana's design. One, it's not only did Dumb Stupid make the katana, but they also made a stand for it, which I think is really cool too. It uses a really neat wrapping for the handle, like reminds me of the stuff that I'm doing, but looks even cooler if I do say so. It looks even neater than what I've got here, so good job, Dumb Stupid. Quite neat indeed. Next up, T1 Assassin. This is actually a continuation from last Community Creation Showcase, where I showcased their Rebellion from Devil May Cry was a work in progress, and here they have finished it! Yeah! Yeah. It looks really great. Speaking of that, I actually went back and looked at what Rebellion from the original Devil May Cry games actually looked like, and yeah, it's a great replica. Excellent job. Down to even the skull. That's incredible. I wonder what you used to make the horns. A bit hard to see from right here, or how you got it to curve like that, and if it stays put or if you used a spine for it, and if so, what kind of spine. Very interesting. I like it. And next, from another relative newcomer, either Joe Vendy Gamers, Yellow Vendy Gamers, or Ho Vendy Gamers. I'm not sure what the root word is there, or what region it comes from. But regardless, they have made an artillery cannon that actually works, using a mechanism using fuel as alcohol to make the boom and also the sound. There's another photo they put of it in the server where they actually added wheels to it, making this absolute threat mobile. Gotta say, if I ever decide to take over the United States with an army of cardboard, I know who to. I know at least one person I'm gonna call. For legal reasons, that is a joke. You all that's supposed to be a gift. They're supposed to be dancing to represent my joy seeing all of your incredible work. You all have done an excellent job, as always. I always look at the Community Creations tab and am just nothing but in awe and impressed at all the work that y'all are doing. So, keep it up. It is incredible. And we will be here roughly the same time next week, making something new. What exactly is it going to be? I'm not 100% sure just yet. It might be an old thing, might be a new thing. Time will tell. But thank you all so much for joining me here today. This has been a very fun stream. We've gotten a lot of cool stuff done. So, thank you all for watching, whether you're here live or on the VOD. I will see you all next time. Drink lots of water and happy crafting. Remember, don't look directly into the eyes. Love y'all. Bye.